Hello and welcome to another Royal Reviewer live pop-up chat. Now, I don't normally come at you live in a pop-up chat on Sunday. However, there has been some ongoing news that has developed since yesterday, since I was live doing my live weekly chat yesterday. So I'm hoping lots of you can pop on and join in the discussion today. I am going to go and find the chat room straight away. But of course, the big story that everybody is talking about is all of these rumours circulating that Harry and Meghan may move to Africa. Now, we'll get into that in just a second. We're also going to talk about the Queen's birthday. Of course, April the 21st. That is today. And also, it was the Easter service. Let me just turn off the volume on my laptop, or else you'll hear me double. And you don't want to hear me double. So, hello to everyone already in the chat room. I'm not expecting notifications to go out because I've probably posted too many videos today. YouTube only send out notifications for the first 3 videos. So if you have got a notification, let me know if they've changed their policy. I don't know. Hello. Oh, Laurie Clark did get a notification. Okay, well, in that case, I've not been limited. That's good. That's really, really good. I'm impressed. Okay. Now, what I wanted to do is to start off with, first of all, by saying Happy Easter to everybody. Happy Passover to those of you who celebrate or, mark Passover. And Happy Easter to anyone who just likes chocolate. So we're going to give chocolate a fan flap. Why not? Also, I'd like to start by saying a big, big, big happy birthday, happy 93rd birthday to Her Majesty the Queen, who looked like she's had a really fabulous day, and she does enjoy going to church service. So the fact that church service fell on her birthday could probably only be a good thing for the Queen. So yes, happy Easter, happy Passover, and happy birthday. Lots of happies going on, and happy chocolate day if you just like chocolate. So let's get into the main point of me being here, which is the Harry and Meghan rumours surrounding Africa. By the way, if I sound a little bit funny, it's allergies. I've been sneezing, I've been in the garden, it's allergies, I haven't got a cold, it's just little bits of tickle in my nose. So yes, the article. Now, I do not believe that this is the original article. I am reading a Daily Mail one. But let's get into it anyway, because I'm sure it's just regurgitating the same old things anyway. So it starts with the headline: Harry and Meghan are being lined up for a 3-year assignment in Africa, combining Commonwealth and charity work after the birth of their child. Well, first of all, I'd like to say that nothing has been decided at this point. This whole thing is purely speculative. I think it's come around to fill a gap, to fill a drought in Harry and Meghan news. I think the press are just desperate to come up with Harry and Meghan stories. However, there is some parts of this that I think could be on the money. And those parts are, of course, their Commonwealth roles. They are President and Vice President of the Queen's Commonwealth Trust. Now, we've all known that they are likely to get big fat chunky Commonwealth roles, and that the Commonwealth is going to feature very heavily in their royal duties and their royal life going forwards. So that part of it comes as absolutely no surprise to me. I'm going to cast, if you join me on my live chat, let's just go back to my live chat yesterday. Now, this story I hadn't seen this story at the point where somebody in chat, I forget who you are, but somebody said, Harry and Meghan, is it true Harry and Meghan are going to move to Africa? And I was like, no, they are not going to move to Africa. Bearing in mind, I didn't know about this story. So afterwards, of course, I went and read up on this developing story. So I'm going to read it and then we'll comment. So it says, the Duke and Duchess will settle into Frogmore Cottage before the decision. So yes, what they're saying is that a decision is going to be made from when baby is born to possibly sometime in 2020. It's believed that the role will be African because of Prince Harry's Lesotho trip on his gap year. I mean, again, If you're saying it's believed to be, I mean, don't you know? If you're coming up with a whole article, shouldn't you know if it's going to be Africa? You know, what it makes me wonder and question what information they are building this on. Is it purely guesswork? Have they had a little bit of a snippet of information and then running a mile with it? Let's read on and see if we can decipher something. So, it comes as the pair move out of Kensington Palace and into Frogmore Cottage. Well, that bit we know is true. They have moved into Frogmore Cottage. So Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. Markle? Who is this Markle of which we speak? The last time I checked, she was the Duchess of Sussex. Could move abroad. So they're not saying they are. Even the article says could move abroad to Africa for 2 or 3 years for a bespoke international job that will utilise their rock star status. It has been revealed. Well, a bespoke role, I can agree with that. I think they will be looking for something, you know, fairly unique to fit their own individual skill sets, as do all of the other royals. They all have different roles that are bespoke and tailor-made to their needs. The royal couple are expecting their first child in the next few days. Well, next few days, week, possibly 2 weeks, who knows? We are on the great Meghan wait at the moment. Are set to be given a role that involves the Commonwealth, charity work and promoting Britain following the birth of their first child. Well, that I can believe, because all of the royals do some kind of work within the Commonwealth. They do charity work and they promote Britain abroad. Look at Charles and Camilla going to Germany, Charles and Camilla going abroad to the Caribbean, William and Catherine go abroad. It's all on behalf of the British government to promote Britain. So that does not surprise me, especially with their roles as President and Vice President of the Queen's Commonwealth Trust. So that kind of fits to me. So David Manning, the former British ambassador to the US, and Lord Gate, the Queen's former private secretary, are said to have drawn up the plans. Well, again, we don't know if that's true. The Duke and Duchess will supposedly, there's lots of supposedly, possibly, could, it's all these kind of words, could supposedly be allowed to settle into their home in Frogmore Cottage. Well, first of all, I'm going to black fan flap the word allowed. Of course they're allowed. They don't have to be allowed to do anything. They are more than entitled to be settled into their home. Oh, the use of these languages, my goodness. Where was I? Allowed to settle into their home in Frogmore Cottage with the baby before a decision is made about where they should go, according to the Sunday Times. Well, first of all, it's making out as if they're going to be sent off, like they're being banished, like people are deciding where to send them because they're a problem. They're not a problem, and nobody is deciding for them. If a decision is made of such nature, it will be because they want to go, not because people are making them, not because people are forcing them. Oh, my goodness. Right, let's skip down a bit. So they recently gave the public a unique glimpse into their 2017 trip, sharing stunning, never-before-seen photos on their Instagram account. Yes, they did. And I think this is where this kind of article and story is building from. So now they're building on the fact that they shared African photos. So can you see how they're kind of taking little snippets of information that are true and are building it into a narrative that has a nasty undertone, could not even be true anyway, is more than likely made up completely, but it's based on little snippets of truth which kind of make the average person who doesn't look into these things just think, oh yes, that's true. Anyway, blah blah blah, let's carry on. It goes on about trekking with elephants, goes on about their Instagram account, shares some photos of Harry and Meghan with elephants. Okay, Harry was rumoured to have proposed in Botswana, and Meghan's engagement ring includes a well, no, he didn't propose in Botswana. He proposed over a chicken. We all know that. They said, who writes this rubbish? They proposed over a chicken. Well, Harry proposed over a chicken. You remember at Nottingham Cottage at Kensington. But the diamond was from Botswana. The central diamond was from Botswana in Meghan's engagement ring. So let's carry on. Blah, blah, blah. A source told the Sunday Times there are discussions in place Um, no, discussions in palace circles about how do we harness Harry and Meghan? How do you harness this phenomenon that has emerged? You make it productive. Now that bit, I can believe that conversations are going on about how to further their work and yes, how to harness the phenomenon seems reasonable to me. A spokesman for the royal family didn't deny the reports and said any future plans for the Duke and Duchess are speculative at this stage. No decisions have been taken about future roles. And that is from an official spokesperson for the royal family. It carries on. The Duke will continue to fulfil his role as Commonwealth Youth Ambassador. So, reading into that, I would say that, yes, it's understandable. They are, still newly married, just having a baby, getting into their roles as a married couple. Of course, the palace is going to be talking about what they want to do in the future. So yes, it's speculative at this stage. No decisions have been made. Let's continue, if I can find it. Carries on about the rift. Let's give that a fan flap. Let's have a look. Goes on about the falling out, the supposedly falling out, which obviously isn't true. Then the article ends. So, I want to go now to Royal Reporter. Which Royal Reporter? I hope I haven't closed it down. Okay. Let's have a look. So, a Royal Reporter, I'm not going to name who, but somebody has commented on a social media site that Buckingham Palace is not denying a report that officials have discussed sending Harry and Meghan to Africa as a way of capitalising on their appeal to young people in the Commonwealth and of putting further distance between them and the Cambridges. So again, they're playing into this narrative of William and Harry being separated, being driven apart, living separate lives, which of course they're going to anyway. So yes, kind of trying to stoke the fire, I think. Buckingham Palace has said any future plans for the Duke and Duchess are speculative at this stage, and we've just read no decisions have been made. So yes, nothing is concrete, nothing is set in stone. Some people are saying as well it's very similar to how the Queen in her early years of marriage went to Malta, but it is slightly different to the Queen's position. The Queen went to Malta as the wife of a naval officer. So, she was still Princess Elizabeth at the time, even though she was the heiress presumptive. But she didn't go to Malta having a particular role of her own. So if this were to happen, it would be slightly different because Harry and Meghan would both have a proper functioning role in wherever they went to. So it is slightly different to that. But yes, the Queen and Philip did have, was it 3 years in Malta, I think, before, obviously, things changed for the Queen. Now, in terms of living abroad, if they were going to do that, I think before baby Sussex or any successive children begin school, it would be a good idea to do it in the early years, because I think that baby Sussex will be schooled in England, in the UK. So I think any major travelling like that would probably be done before baby Sussex starts school at round about age 4 to 5 here in the UK. Now, travelling abroad wouldn't be a problem taking baby Sussex if they were to do this. Now, I think it's most likely that if they were to have a big, meaty, fat, chunky Commonwealth role, that they would probably do lots of travelling and maybe have, a 3-month stint here, a 3-month stint there. I think basing themselves in one country for 3 years is probably not going to be likely, especially when they'll be needed back in the UK for certain things and certain charities and commitments they have in the UK. So that would involve a lot of flying to and from. I'm not quite sure that would be the best thing. And I'm not playing into this whole narrative of sending them off, being sent off because they're becoming big. I mean, one article I read said that Meghan's becoming bigger than Diana, and they want to control them and all this. That's just complete undertones going on there, and I'm not buying into that. Any role that any role within the Commonwealth that they have will be because they deserve it in terms of their actual roles, because that's the roles that they have. Ah, my goodness, all this news. I want to go and see what you guys are saying before we move on. So, let me find the chat room. I bet there's so many comments. Hello to everyone if you've said hello. Lots of people saying they did get a notification. I can just see those comments there. Yes, Laurie, I read the same article about the palace wanting to get rid of Harry and Meghan. That's totally not true at all. Can I say hi to Denny Jones? Yes, I can. Yes, they do have quite a connection to several African countries. I would agree with that. But it doesn't mean that they're going to go and live there. You know, going to visit, going on long trips, going on 3-month trips, going on a 6-month secondment to speak of is one thing, but going to live there for 3 years is a completely different issue. And they do have responsibilities and duties back in the UK as well. So I'm not quite sure 3 years away is going to be quite the right thing. Nafeta Pri says Doria is in the UK. I've seen the same articles as you, but I haven't seen anything in terms of proof that she's here in the UK. Where is Prince Charles and Camilla? To be perfectly honest, I'm not sure, and I was wondering that myself. I mean, some of the likely options are that maybe they were with Philip, Sandringham, or Windsor. But then again, if they were at Windsor, they would have probably gone to the service. They could be spending Easter on a private holiday. They could be spending Easter with Camilla's family. Camilla does keep her own private house. So it's possible that she's spending Easter with her family. And Charles is there too, which is probably the most likely option. Trinette Mitchell says, out of curiosity, do you think this is a divisive way to get Harry and Meghan away from the UK because some feel their popularity is a problem for the future King and Queen? No, because if you think about it, by sending them, if they were to be sent to Africa to have a big meaty Commonwealth role, that's actually putting them even more on the world stage. So if you wanted to downplay Harry and Meghan, if you wanted to put a lid on them, so to speak, I don't think you'd be sending them on a big chunky meaty role that's going to get them even more attention. So it doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense to me whatsoever, I have to say. Yes, why would anyone believe this nonsense? I mean, don't get me wrong. I think talk of giving them a big fat chunky role, yes, I can agree with that. I think that probably is on the cards, but I don't think it's going to take the form of 3 years away. Definitely not. M. Davis says, Happy Easter. I thought it odd that at the church that Harry was separated from William and Catherine in the receiving line and didn't arrive or walk with them at all. Well, they did walk with them. They were in a big long line. I'm sure you watched my video coming down the hill from Windsor to St George's Chapel. You know, they don't have to be joined at the hip. They're brothers. They're not Siamese twins. You know, and people saying that they were frosty or whatever, they weren't frosty. If you looked at the other clip where they're lined up waiting for the Queen, Prince Harry and William are looking at each other, they're joking. Harry jokes with Catherine. There is no frostiness going on. There is no negativity whatsoever. Gregory C says, why would this come out today? Well, actually, it came out yesterday, but I have no idea. I'm thinking it's the sort of great Meghan wait, and they've had a bit of a drought of Meghan news. Kimberly says, I'm absolutely livid by Tim Shipman's article. Have I read that one? I'm not sure. It makes William sound so mean and threatened by his brother or sister-in-law. It seems like we know. I don't think I've seen that one. I'll have to look that one up. Mary Brunn says, well, after setting up a household in Buckingham Palace, then why would they get sent to Africa? Exactly. It doesn't. I can see Psychic Elliot can see Africa in their future. I can. I can see Africa in their future. But I don't think that involves a 3-year away stay, if you get what I mean. Our Villa Ware says, why do they hate Meghan? Because she's black and smart, so sad. I mean, I would not like to speculate as to why we're getting all of these fake stories. But like I say, one of them probably is those racial undertones. But also, lack of Meghan news equals profits are down. Elderly Poodle says, maybe they will have a second home there. Okay, that's possible. That's feasible. I mean, we know that Harry and Meghan both love Africa. Botswana does hold a special place for them both. So it's possible that they may have lots of visits and trips, and maybe take on some charities, some extra charities over there, or projects as well. So look, skipping down a few. I'm so sorry if I've missed your comment. Yes, Markles and Middletons, they still call them. Just skipping through. Sorry if I've skipped yours. Okay, I really am skipping down now. Rose says, apparently the people who wrote this story wrote that Meghan has a surrogate. Oh, not that story again. That gets a fan flap too. Scott Goff says, think that the order of precedence only happens at royal events. Well, somebody commented in my video about the order of precedence, saying certain royals were going in before others. Don't forget, it works in reverse. So if you are arriving, it's horrible to say least important, but the further you are down the line, you arrive first, and it always ends up with the monarch or arriving last, as did happen today. The Queen arrived last. Now, upon leaving, it's always the opposite. The most important always leaves first, followed by the least important, so to speak, or the least down the line. So that may have confused some people. I'm not sure. Betsy says, Harry seems to be being groomed for more involvement in the Commonwealth, but won't William be groomed to take over after Charles? Yes, of course, William's destiny is to be head of the Commonwealth. Should the Commonwealth countries accept him to be that, that is a decision for all of the Commonwealth countries to make when that time comes. But I would agree. I mean, there is talk also about Harry possibly being a Governor General or a Vice Governor General of some other country. I don't know if that's true. That's speculative at the moment as well. But yes, William will be big in the Commonwealth too, and Harry and Meghan will have their own niche as well. I will read the article about the alleged rift, if I can bear to. Laurie says, and that's a problem. Real journalists don't base their stories on snippets. That's what the worst of the worst gossip mongers do. And he says, you mean while roasting a chicken, not over... Well, no, not literally over a chicken. Although that would be rather funny. I would quite like it if Harry actually had put the ring inside the chicken. That would be quite fun. Honestly says, yes, I remember the BBC engagement interview. So yes, they did not get engaged in Botswana. Just skipping through a few, because I think we're repeating some comments. Yes, I've heard that Doria is over here as well, but I haven't seen head nor tail of Doria at all. So I'm not sure. Was she perhaps leaving LA? I've heard that she's booked a house sitter and a dog walker or something, but has she actually been seen anywhere? Do we have a Doria sighting anywhere? Okay. Just giving... I mean, I'm not saying that they won't have a long stay somewhere, but I don't think it'll be 3 years. James Made 4 says, I've been wondering if in the far-off future William will be king, but Prince Harry becomes head of the Commonwealth. Probably not. But then again, the countries can vote for whoever they want. Um, so, who? I mean, that's going to be a long way off. Lots of people laughing at the chickens or the chicken. Okay, have I finally reached the bottom of the chat? I think I have. Oh no, I think I've skipped loads. Hang on. No, there is no surrogate. That was a completely fake story. Okay. Rose says Meghan has conducted herself with dignity and grace under terrible scrutiny. She deserves better. I would agree so with that too. Um, and that's all we kind of know about that for now. So I'm going to leave that there. Like I say, all of that is a long way off. And like I say, they need to just have the baby first. Have the baby, settle in, get used to being parents, have fun together as a couple, have fun together as a family, and then think about what you're going to do later. So I think that's probably what will happen. I hope that's what will happen. Anyway, so let's move on. So you've all seen the videos on the Easter Sunday service. No, we did not get to see the actual service. That wasn't televised. I would like it to have been, but it wasn't. I predicted the Queen would wear blue, and she kind of, I think it's been described as seafoam or turquoise. So I'm going to say I was right in blue. I'm going to claim victory. She did, in fact, wear blue. Queen looked gorgeous upon leaving St George's. I think it was the royal reporters, actually, or the crowds that were gathered, sang happy birthday, which was lovely. Lots of the royal family on their social medias have been saying happy birthday, sending happy birthday messages to the Queen. Harry and Meghan were no exception. They did send a post on their Instagram with photos of the Queen, and I want to read it because it's quite funny what I think Harry obviously wrote this because he calls her Granny. So it's Sussex Royal posted, "Happy birthday, Your Majesty, Mom, Granny, wishing you the most wonderful day from Harry and Meghan." So I thought that was just really, really lovely. Prince Charles sent a message. William and Catherine sent a message. Everyone's been sending messages. Lots of the army and the navy and the air force have been sending messages too. So lots of messages for the Queen on her birthday. The Duke of Edinburgh didn't turn up at the service either, but then again, we weren't, I don't think any of us were expecting him to. He hasn't been turning up to these sorts of events for the past year. So yes, he's probably at Wood Farm at Sandringham, or he may be staying at Windsor, I don't know, but it's most likely he's at Sandringham, I would have thought, even though it's the Queen's birthday. We've spoken about the royal reporters trying to fuel the Harry and William rift rumours, again, constantly trying to bring it back up, drudge it up, which I'm not very happy about, I have to say. Princess Beatrice, we've spoken about her not curtsying. No, we haven't spoken about that. I made a video on it, so hopefully you've seen that. And I'll quickly whiz through the reasons why. So when you meet the Queen for the first time in a day, you either bow or curtsy. You bow if you're a man, you curtsy if you're a lady. You also refer to her as Your Majesty for the first time that you address her. Thereafter, you refer to her as Ma'am, as in jam. Ma'am, as in jam. I think I said Ma'am before. It's Ma'am, as in jam. That's easy to remember. But you don't have to bow or curtsy again that day. So that indicates to me that Beatrice had already met the Queen that day. William didn't bow either, so perhaps William had already been up ahead of Catherine to meet the Queen and wish her a happy birthday. That could also have happened. So if you didn't see any royals curtsying or bowing, that's probably the reason why. Prince Andrew, the Duke of York, was also there. So yes, lots of royals. The Wessexes were there as well. Everyone looked like they had a really, really good time. But I think we're just kind of happy that Meghan was at home resting and nesting. Hashtag resting and nesting. I think we're disappointed we didn't see her, but happy that she's doing the right thing for her, getting some rest. And I think that's kind of all that I've got to speak about today. So I'm going to kind of go and read up some comments today. Corrine S says, "Hi Elliot, I've been a big fan for a while. Thank you. Keep up the good work. Say hi if you see this. Hello." Nefeta Pri says, "You can tell Kensington Palace message was written by staff. It was not personal." That one was definitely personal, which was why I decided to read that one out. Mary Brunson says, "Andrew and William also did bow, so obviously had already seen her." Yes, they didn't bow. Arnold says, "Africa is not a safe place right now." They wouldn't send, if they were going to visit anywhere in the world, they would make sure that they were safe. Where's my tiara today? I haven't got it on. I've got my hair tiara on today. Yes, HM looks great for 93 goals. Yes, definitely. Mrs. VSN says, "With small children, they would need to stay in the UK." Well, they could travel with small children. Obviously, before they get to the point where they need to start school. But I think it's most likely that they won't stay for years away somewhere else. Bassani Golf says, "I would like to see William take a tough stance, especially about the racism his sister-in-law is enduring. The younger generation, I think you're saying, want to appeal to, would have more respect for the royal family." I mean, again, I think Harry and Meghan are big enough and old enough to defend themselves. Harry has defended them in the past. But, you know, it is what it is at the moment. And, like I say, the royal family don't tend to sue stories. It opens them up to more stories. But it comes to a point where sometimes the elastic band is wound or stretched so much that it snaps. Are we reaching that point? Will we see a snap? Oh no, at Scott Goff's cat. Hold your nose. Elaine says, "Folks are just upset that the Duke and Duchess of Sussex are more popular than the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, and they think giving Harry a job overseas will dim their popularity." That's one view. But I don't necessarily think the palace think that. I think any chunky, meaty role will be because of their roles that they already have within the Commonwealth. Yes, let them have their baby first, I agree. Marie says, "Doria is the Invisible Woman." I haven't seen her. I want some proof that she's here. I really do. Janice says, "All humans originated in Africa." I did watch a programme once that did say that the very, 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 very early humans, I've just sat on my pen, the very, very, very early humans did indeed, we think, originate from that landmass. But don't forget that the continents were different back then. Continental drift has meant that we now end up with the world looking how it does. But way, way, way back then, it wasn't like that. And lots more land masses were joined, different seas weren't there. So the very, very, very early humans, humanoid, whatever they were, back then, did in fact travel, and they started to move, and they migrated out of Africa, and then obviously went all the way around the globe to where they are today. And then I think some very, very early humans remained on that landmass where we all originated from. Some travelled off. Yes, you may have seen that programme. I don't know. Alicia says, "My house looks super traditional and English." It's a typical English cottage. Thank you to Tammy, who enjoyed my videos. They're not going to move to Africa. No, I haven't seen what Rebecca Mills did on Sky. No, I haven't seen that. Nefeta P says, "They know how to get Doria in without notice." Well, I don't know. I mean, has she... When was the last time she was spotted in LA? Okay, I'm going to leave it here because there's nothing else we can add to this story other than It is purely speculative. No decisions have been made whatsoever. I agree that a nice big chunky meaty Commonwealth role will be available to Harry and Meghan, but I don't think it's going to involve going away for up to 3 years. Maybe sort of, visits of 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, 3 months, maybe 6 months. That's possible, but I don't think we're looking at them moving abroad. But we will wait and see. No decisions are to be made on anything until at least 2020. So, thank you for joining me tonight. Please join me in 2 hours' time for the premiere of my weekly vlog. So head on over to my weekly vlog video, set the reminder, turn up in 2 hours, and I will be there to watch the premiere with you guys. I hope as many of you can make it as possible. If you have enjoyed this video, please give it a big old thumbs up. Don't forget to share it on social media. Make sure you're subscribed to this channel. So from me in Shropshire,